Hello, everyone. Welcome back with another episode of LMScast. I'm Joshua Millage, and I'm joined with Christopher Badgett. And today we're talking about how to monetize your consulting business if you are a consultant. So, Chris, take it away, buddy.
Yeah. Well, we've created three other podcast episodes about how to monetize your X with online courses. So what we've done it already, we have an episode on how to do it for book authors or authors. We've done it for bloggers, and we've done it for podcasters. So this is for the consultants out there of how to monetize your consulting business with online courses. But I think the conversation starts around productized service and defining what that is. A productized service is a more repeatable, scalable version of your custom client work, if you will, where you can plug other people into the process. You say no to things that are outside of the scope, whereas in your previous version, you may have said yes to anything or whatever. You get really defined and package up your service offering and make it really black and white. And that's kind of what productizing a service is. Do you have anything to add?
No, I mean, I think it's really hard to productize a service, but actually the best productized service I have ever seen in my life is when I got the intro recorded for Infusioncast. Tim Page, Tim the Page is his website. He has a really awesome process where he had his VA call me and do like a pre-interview, and then I'm sure they're using like a Trello board or something and picking out music, and then they pinged me to pick out the music, and then went back to him, and then he recorded. I mean, it was like really well done. So I think there's certain productized services like that, which is like, it's pretty linear. I think a lot of consultants do a lot of exploration and discovery on how to solve their clients' problems. And so in those situations, what I would say is that shoot for like 80%, and then when you make the course, speak to that 80% and talk about caveats, and in this lesson, there's a portion where it's on you to kind of figure out how you apply this. There's nothing wrong with saying that. It's, I think, making it known. Because when you don't say stuff like that, then you get into like the shady internet marketing world where it's like, you just copy and paste my methodology and it'll do X, Y, and Z for you. And a lot of times it doesn't always work that way. So I think when you're open and honest about how, hey, I'm telling you this, now it's on you to really work through how to apply it, people respond well and it works well. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Absolutely. And yeah, that's cool to think about a productized service in that way. And I want to just mention another one I saw from the people over at the WPcast podcast. It's for WordPress folks. Is one of the hosts of that show has a productized service around building websites that run podcasts. And it was a new thing he was exploring, and he just launched it. I forget the name of it. I'd give you the URL.
Was it podcast websites?
Yeah, websites for podcasters is a productized service. I believe it costs like $1,000 or $2,000 or something. And that's just another. If you want to see an example, I think it's called Pod WP or something like that. Go check it out. But yeah. So if you're a consultant and you want to productize your service, there's a couple reasons to do that. One is to make your business more scalable, and two is to make it so that sometimes, like in the work we've done, and like as a web designer, if somebody can't afford our services, or someone can't afford your services or whatever, it's cool to send people to an online course that can still add value to what they're trying to get done. Now that could be a paid course. It could be like your cheapest service offering, instead of like hiring you directly to do something, is to teach that person how to do something through a paid course, which isn't, as good as like the custom, I'm going to work with you directly thing. But maybe your paid course is still pretty good and helps them achieve the desired outcome. They're just going to have to do more of the work themselves. Or it could be a free course that you just give away, and that becomes a powerful tool for lead generation. It gives you a platform to demonstrate your expertise. It gives you an opportunity to educate your customers on like what it actually is that you do, which often helps in closing a sale, because they may not realize the complexity of what it is you're offering and are wondering why you're so expensive. And then once they get into your course and they're like, oh, this happens to me. This has happened to me before, where someone has gone through a web design free course I've created. They build it up to a certain level, and then they're like, all right, I need to hire the professionals now to
Yeah.
do it. So that's been my experience with using online courses as a consultant.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, that's a really good idea. And I think what's cool about a tool like LifterLMS is you can actually make it a pretty dynamic sales funnel, because you could have an email triggered when that when they complete certain pieces of the course. And so when that email's triggered, you can actually be pushing them to sign up for a phone call or something like that. And you're doing it based on their behavior. So you can offer a certain offer at the beginning versus an offer at the end, because well, someone who's at the end of the course is more engaged than someone who's at the beginning of the course. And so you can do different things when you start to think through it that way. So it is LifterLMS is beyond being a learning management system. It's a way dynamic follow-up / sales funnel tool, just depending on how you think about it, which is really, really cool. So I think it's amazing, man. And I think a lot of consultants are sitting on a gold mine if they could just take the time, I should say, to create the course, And if they could create the time or take the time to create the course, they could see their income rapidly increase, because they're using the power of the internet to scale the knowledge that they have. So also the other thing I want to say that consultants never think about is downsells. So we all know about upsells, like in the sales process. How do we upsell you into some other product or service offering that's a little bit more premium, or kind of a cross sell where it's like a complementary product? No one thinks of downsells. No one thinks of like, oh, Chris, I can't afford your service. Right. Well, you're right. You can't afford my service. Okay, well, you guys just imagine the conversation. Okay, so you can't afford my retainer package at $2,000 a month. Well, I have this course for $200. Right. It's a tenth of the cost, but it's still the same amount of value. The difference is you have to do everything. And you'd probably, you're letting like money go if you don't have something like that, because a percentage of the people are going to go yes, and that's just $200 that you grab and put in your pocket. Like,
that's a really good point, that people, like, everybody thinks about the upsell but not the downsell.
No one thinks about the downsell, man. I'm always thinking about downsells, because I get, in sales, the kind of the yeses and nos are what you want to hear. Maybes kill you. But
that's a great point.
Yeah, maybes do kill you, because you never know where you sit. You just want to know. Like, it takes energy to sit on a maybe. But I always push people, like, hey, Chris, let me shoot you straight. This is actually how, when I get to a point where I'm in a maybe, I just go for the jugular. Chris, let me ask you a question. What's it going to take to earn your business? And I'll just say it like that, and people will be like, whoa, okay. I don't think it's disrespectful when you ask it like that, because you can say, hey, I'm a business owner, you're a business owner. I say, for one business owner to the next, what's it going to take to win your business? And they're like, well, the cost is off. Perfect. Cost is off, not a big deal. Well, okay, I've got a course for $200 where you can buy, and and you could have your assistant go through that course. You don't even have to worry about it. She'll get trained up and be able to execute what I'm talking about. Now, you don't get me at $2,000, but you get all the knowledge that I have. And the difference is you need to execute on it with someone in your company. But, I've seen your company, and I think you've got some talented people, and I really think this would be a great option for you. Wow, okay. That's awesome. So you took him down. But and again, you'll still have no's there, but to not try that is crazy, And that's for most consultants, that's a Saturday or 2 Saturdays of putting that course together, and that can be a huge profit center in their sales process.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, just to give people like one more action of like what you should do if this episode is resonating with you right now, I'd give you 2 steps. One is check out the demo of LifterLMS. That's at lifterlms.com. And if you're feeling it, grab yourself a copy of the plugin. The next is I want to refer you to another resource. We're part of the WordPress community where, people share and we help out on other podcasts and that sort of thing. I want you to check out, you'll just need to do a Google search and look for the Tropical MBA podcast and look for an interview that was done with Damian Thompson about productized services. It's a great resource to really get your head wrapped around that. So if you get a copy of LifterLMS, and go listen to that episode on the Tropical MBA with Damian Thompson, you'll be ready to take this idea and run with it.
Awesome. Well, that's a great way to end this episode. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Hit us up on Twitter at LifterLMS.com or at LifterLMS, or you can reach me personally at @jmillage. And Chris, what's your Twitter handle?
At Chris Badgett.
Right on. All right. Have a great day.